joins two other candidates in the Republican field, including Doug Wardlow, who lost to Keith Ellison by about 4 percentage points back in 2018. And speaking of Keith Ellison, he joins us now via Zoom. And Mr. Attorney General, it's hard to believe that there's already another election coming up.
It's already on top of us.
Absolutely. It's just next year. Your thoughts on the growing field of Republican opponents who would like your job?
Well, welcome to the race. I believe in democracy. I'm a very firm believer in it. I'm sure we'll have a spirited contest. And I'm confident in the job that I've done and my staff has done. But it's good to have elections. I support that, and I'm looking forward to the debate.
Now, the really interesting thing I've seen about how your job has transformed from what it was like in more recent years, a lot more work being done on the criminal side. Obviously, the Derek Chauvin case, now you're going to be dealing with the Kim Potter case, very high-profile cases. In the past, the Attorney General was mostly, it seemed, a consumer advocate. You're still doing that work, but the criminal side has grown quite a bit.
That's true, but let me tell you, we always do around 12 to 15 homicides every year for greater Minnesota counties. That's not new. We have always had and very proud of our criminal prosecutors who are available to usually rural counties. In more recent times, we've been called upon by the more urban areas, but we stand ready to help our counties. We see justice as a matter of a partnership, and we're standing firm with them.
Yeah, and of course, what is new is that you've had some extremely high-profile cases here in the past year, not just across Minnesota, but across the country and the world. Let's start with the Derek Chauvin case. Sentencing coming up later this month. To no one's surprise, the defense attorneys want him to serve essentially the time he's already served plus probation. You are seeking at least 30 years in prison, I believe. I know you're not in the business of predicting what a judge is going to do, but do you feel pretty good about your case when it comes to sentencing?
Yes, we believe that fair sentencing is incredibly important and appropriate. We believe that the evidence shows that actually Judge Cahill has even recognized that there are aggravating factors. They're aggravating factor when 3 or more people participate in a crime, when you're in a position of authority, when you commit a crime in front of children, and what you do is cruel. Those are reasons to depart upward from the normal guideline sentence of about 150 months. We think that's appropriate in this case.
How complicated has your work become now that the federal government has also stepped in with its own case? The trial involving the other 3 officers has now been delayed. Does that complicate what you're trying to do?
It does add some complication, but it's well within our ability to handle. The leader of our criminal division, a man named Matt Frank, is incredibly well qualified, does a great job, and he's got it under control.
And now the focus is going to shift here soon to the Kim Potter case. She's the Brooklyn Center police officer charged in the Daunte Wright case. The Washington County attorney handed it back to Mike Freeman, who handed it back to you. The charge right now is second-degree manslaughter. There's a lot of people who don't think that is a strong enough charge. Is there a likelihood that charge will be increased under your leadership?
We are continuing to evaluate the law and the facts of the case. And so at this time, I don't have anything to announce, but we are continuing our evaluation.
Are you feeling a lot of pressure from advocates for that position? Because certainly the Washington County attorney was. In fact, they were protesting outside his home.
No, I'm not feeling any pressure. We're going to do our job. We're going to do our duty. We're going to charge with ethical and right and justified by the facts and the law. We're not going to do more than that. We're not going to do less than that. We're just going to do our duty.
All right. Let's talk about a Republican proposal to give amnesty to some of the businesses, primarily bars and restaurants, that violated the governor's emergency orders. I believe you have a handful of those cases that are still active. Where do you stand on the issue of giving them amnesty due to the pandemic and all the hardships that bars and restaurants faced?
I think if you don't hold people accountable for violating the law, then you encourage violation of the law. Now look, there are over 15,000 bars and restaurants in the state of Minnesota, and 99.9% of them, more than 99.9%, were fully compliant with the executive orders. And as a result, they were able to protect their employees and protect their workers. The very minute group, literally a handful that didn't do that, should not be rewarded for flouting the law. So I don't think that that is the right course of action. I think it would send a very bad signal, and I hope that the individuals proposing that reconsider.
All right, we'll see if that goes anywhere in the state legislature. Mr. Attorney General, thank you so much for taking time with us today on that issue. We hope to see you back here in studio.